Welcome back. It's been a while since I posted any videos on this channel, but I'm back and I'm planning to start making one video per month at minimum, and that's just going to be a portfolio update video in which I go over my dividend portfolio, talk about any buys and sells I made, the dividends I received, any bigger changes in the portfolio, and just give general updates about the markets and what I'm thinking and my thought processes as it pertains to my portfolio and kind of my plans moving forward at that point in time. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on these future videos. Throughout these videos, I'm going to be using my portfolio tracker spreadsheet to display a lot of the information and convey a lot of the changes. And I'll also be talking about and showing some new features that I'm going to be adding to an actual product that will be available in the next few months. Hopefully, initially it'll be free just for people to test and use and give me feedback on, and then eventually there will be some more advanced features added and there will be some sort of paid versioning. So first of all, let's just take a look at the spreadsheet right now before I make any updates for the month of August. So these are the companies I own in my portfolio. Current portfolio value is about $16,500. Projected dividend income is $368, but that's not including any interest we do receive on our cash. And current dividend yield about 2.5%. 5-year dividend CAGR, this says it's 3.6%, but for a few reasons it's higher than that, but I still think it's probably not as high as I would like it. And in my new portfolio spreadsheet that I'm working on, I have some fixes and methods to get a more accurate picture and data for the 5-year dividend CAGR metric, because for me that's something that's really important and I look at a lot. So I have my portfolio in Fidelity, so every month I go in and I filter the transactions from the first of the month to the last, and then I just download the CSV of these transactions, and then I save that CSV and come into my portfolio spreadsheet and import it. And then I have some scripts I've created that will go through and parse through all the data, transaction data in this file, and put it into my spreadsheet in the appropriate place that I want to put it. And in my new spreadsheet, I'm going to have a similar feature, but I'm hoping it's going to be a lot more versatile and easy to use. Currently, the way I do it is I pretty much have a different script for every single different brokerage, because different brokerages will just display their data differently, so you have to be able to adapt to that. But in the new spreadsheet I'm working on, you should be able to bring in data from any brokerage, and as long as it's split into columns and has the data points we need, you can specify where each of those data points are, and then it will be a lot more versatile and simpler and be able to pull in that data from any brokerage essentially. So the script has finished running and we can see the little summary here. Total buys $128, total sales nothing, total deposits 0, and total dividends $36.62. And we can see the transactions here. They're actually shifted down a little bit because of some mistakes I made earlier. I had to go through and re-record this part, but the good thing is, in the new version of the spreadsheet, it'll always be in the right spot, no matter how many times you insert and delete the transactions. So that's a better way of doing it that I have in the new spreadsheet. So made some purchases, a few purchases of Carrier Global here, HPQ, one purchase, AT&T, this looks like just a reinvested dividend, and then Air Products and Chemicals, Texas Instruments, Apple, all reinvested dividends there. Same thing with AbbVie, Procter & Gamble, and Caterpillar, and then one purchase of Cisco. So nothing too crazy. Bought a few times throughout the month, and you might have noticed, as I mentioned, I made no deposits this month, and I've had some life changes, just kind of shifting priorities in the short term, so I've stopped contributing to this portfolio. But as you can see, we still have over $2,000 of cash in the portfolio, so there's plenty of ammo left there to be able to invest over the next few months, up to a year maybe. So portfolio with those transactions added is at $16,584 and projected dividend income of $371.31. And we'll take a look here at the dividend CAGRs in this column, And we can see for Apple that the dividend CAGR over the last 5 years is listed at negative 20%. And that's because of a 4-for-1 stock split that Apple did a few years ago. So the dividend data I'm getting is not split adjusted. So in my new spreadsheet, I actually created some functionality to look at the dividends and then look at the splits that occurred and cross-reference those basically and recalculate the split adjusted dividends and then use that to calculate the 5-year dividend CAGR. So in my new spreadsheet, I'm able to get the correct value of 5.11% 5-year dividend CAGR for Apple. And then the one other company where there's a little issue, I guess you could call it, is just Carrier Global, because they've only been public for, I think, just over 5 years now as a new company. They were, a spinoff from, I think it was called United Technologies before. And so the dividend CAGR data just can't be calculated because there's not enough data there. So that's another one that's kind of artificially bringing the dividend CAGR down to 5.39%, which is certainly better, but definitely not as high as I would like it to be. I would like it to be more like 7 or 8% ideally. I also have some graphs here that just display some portfolio metrics over time, such as just the value, dividend income, dividend yield, dividend CAGR. I could definitely add some more of these if people have interest in them, but these are the ones I just thought were interesting to me and might be beneficial. So those are the ones that I have in my personal spreadsheet. And then if we look at dividend payments here, AT&T, $3.72, Carrier Global, a little over $1, Air Products and Chemicals, almost $4, Texas Instruments, $8, Apple, $1, AbbVie, $6, Procter & Gamble, $3, Caterpillar, $2, and then interest on our cash of $7, which gives us a total for the month of August of $36.62. So this is a graph of the dividends I received every single month going back to March of 2020 when I started this portfolio essentially. So we can see definitely a solid upward trend. Growth has slowed a little bit over the past year or so, but I've definitely been investing less per month, I'd say, for most months, and getting some dividend raises. Didn't have any to show this month, I don't think. If we look at the quarterly dividends, $70 so far this quarter, 2 months of the quarter done, and then $271.73 of dividends so far this year. It's pretty difficult to calculate an actual metric for the percentage return of your portfolio. So typically I just look at what Fidelity tells me. Maybe that's something I'll add into the portfolio eventually, but I'd say right now that's pretty low on the priority list for me at least. If I get tons of feedback from people that that's a higher priority for them, maybe I'll work on adding that. But for right now, I just use Fidelity. It says my performance over the past 3 years is 14.5% compared to 19.5% for the S&P 500. So definitely lagging there. Over the past 1 year, 8% compared to the S&P 15.9%. And year to date, though, we are beating the markets at 10.8%. I guess right in line with the markets actually compared to the S&P's 10.8%. So not the most stellar of performance. Like I've said before, this dividend portfolio is certainly not my biggest investments at all. It's a smaller chunk of my investments, and most of my other investments are just in S&P 500 or total market index funds. And so most of my money is just kind of in set it and forget it type of investments, and I dabble with part of my investment funds for more active investments. I do have a lot of other features in my dividend portfolio spreadsheets, and I'm going to be sharing those in future videos, but for this one, that's all of the features I want to talk about. If you do have any suggestions for things that you think would be valuable or helpful for you in a portfolio tracking spreadsheet, definitely let me know in the comments below. And you can also join my Discord server, which will be linked below if you want to communicate with me a little bit more directly and be the first ones to know when my portfolio tracking spreadsheet is available. For the first users, that will be for free initially, and then at some point there will be some more advanced features added, and that will be at some sort of cost. I really appreciate everyone that stuck around to the end of the video. Again, let me know if you do have any suggestions, and I'll see you all in the next one.